Tell me, when is God not blessing his children? Right? Even when you sick in your body, you still need to sing the Lord is blessing you. You may not have a dollar in your pocket, but you still need to sing. Look like everything is going wrong. But you still need to sing. Sometimes the process ain't easy. But that don't mean he ain't blessing us. Because he said that all things, there's nothing that you can go through that's not working for your good. I need you to tell somebody that. Tell them there ain't nothing you can go through. Ain't nothing you can go through. Ain't nothing you can go through. Father, we thank you right now that you blessed us right now. Help us to recognize and realize that you blessed us right now, God. Right where we stand, God. Maybe that's why David said, I will bless the Lord at all times. And his praise shall continually be in my mouth. Because you've been good, God. Even in the storm, even in the rain, even in the darkness, you've been good. You've been good, God. You've been good, God. You've been better than good. We thank you, Lord, for how you have showed up and showed out. Now we ask that you will say a few words to these lips of flame that will continue to strengthen your people, God. That we'll be able to weather every storm, God, that you have designed for us to go through. And stand against every demon that rises up against us and every problem that come our way. We give you the praise, honor, and glory. Bind every demonic force and let your word have free course. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. If you have your Bibles, would you please turn with us for the next few moments to a little small book. It's the 9th of the Minor Prophets and the 36th book of the Old Testament, called the book of Zephaniah. The book of Zephaniah. I know my Bible students are already there. Amen. Not the one with the phone. You say, hey. But that's all right. You got to do it like you do it. Huh? But if you have paper, or however you want to get to it, just get there. Amen. Some come on the bus, some come on the train. Amen. As long as we get there. Glory to God. Zephaniah chapter number 2. Zephaniah. That's right after the book of Habakkuk, which is after the book of Obadiah, after the book of Nahum. That's after Micah. There's a few books in front of Malachi. So if you know where Malachi and Zechariah is, you'll be able to find it. Just find Malachi, go back a few pages. Zephaniah, Zephaniah. Zephaniah, right in front of the book of Haggai. You know where the book of Haggai is? He lives near Haggai. Chapter number 2. Chapter number 2. He lives between Haggai and Habakkuk. Amen, amen. Glory to God. Everybody have it. Can you signify by saying amen? Amen. I'm going to read it in the King James, then you can take your seat. I'm going to read it also in the New Living Translation. It says, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together. O nation not desired. before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff. Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you, seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. You may take your seat. I want to read this again from the New Living Translation, so maybe you can have a better understanding of what I'm reading. But in Zephaniah chapter 2, verses 1 through 3, in the New Living Translation, it says, gather together, yes, gather together, you shameless. And that means shameful or without shame. Nation. Gather before judgment begins. God is calling us to gather before judgment begins. Before your time to repent is blown away like chaff. Before your opportunity to repent is blown away like chaff. Act now before the fierce fury of the Lord falls and the terrible day of the Lord's anger begins. Look at somebody and say, something is about to happen. Before the fierce anger of the Lord falls and the terrible, the dreadful, the horrible day of the Lord's anger begins. The last verse says, seek the Lord, all ye humble, all ye meek, and follow his commands, his orders, his instructions. Seek to do what is right and live humbly. Perhaps even yet the Lord will protect. The Lord will hide, conceal, or shelter you. Protect you from his fierce anger on the day of destruction. I was talking to my mother the other day, and I told her I was doing a study. We were doing a study. I had started a new series in Bible study on Wednesday night on the minor prophets. And she asked me, she said, which one are you going to highlight? I hadn't thought about highlighting one. I said, I'm going to highlight all of them. But then I said, but I suppose I'll probably highlight the one that I know the least about. A lot of the minor prophets I know a little bit about. A lot of people have not even read the minor prophets. But one of the minor prophets crossed my mind, and I couldn't think of anything about that minor prophet. And that was Zephaniah. And I said, Lord, who is Zephaniah? So I want to introduce Zephaniah to you today. My subject today is time to seek the Lord. And I know somebody here might say, well, I'm already saved. But that don't mean nothing. Because you already said, are you seeking the Lord? The Apostle Paul told the church at Rome in Romans 13 and 11, he said, it's later than you think. He said, our salvation now is nearer than when we first began. So it's time to put off the works of darkness. I know church members, quote unquote, don't do darkness. But if you're one of them ones that may have slipped in the darkness, it's time to get out of it. My Bible tells me that judgment is going to begin first. If you don't believe me, go check out 1 Peter 4 and 17. He said the judgment is going to begin first in the house of God. And if the righteous scarce to be saved, what about the Son of Man? So I wanted to do a little study. Zephaniah is only 3 chapters, so you can read Zephaniah in one sitting. And I began to study about Zephaniah, and I thought about it. I said, Zephaniah is a prophet that needs to be heard. So I'll take a second topic. I was just trying to hear what the man of God has to say. You know, God said in 2 Chronicles 20 and 20, this is very interesting. And we may not jump today, but as long as we get something, that's all that really matters, isn't it? The Second Chronicles chapter 20 and verse 20, I don't know how many remember the story behind Second Chronicles 20 and 20, but you have to actually go back and read the whole chapter of Second Chronicles. But the Bible talks about a king by the name of Jehoshaphat. And Jehoshaphat had got a message that a whole bunch of nations was coming against you. I don't know about you, but most folks don't like bad news. Kind of like Job got some bad news. And your sons got killed, all your cattle dead. There's one thing after another. They cut the lights off. They cut the water off. You got 4 flat tires on your car. My goodness, and the chicken coop burnt down. There's one